as we're nearing the college football season, as summer is almost here, fall practice will be here, and then next thing you know it'll be the end of August, and we'll be looking at week 0 and week 1, and another great, incredible season will begin. But until then, we have something that's going to hold us over, and that's news about the new college football video game from EA Sports. It's been 10 years. NCAA 14 was the very last one that was released back on July 9th of 2013. It's been too long. It's been too long. And if you don't know why they stopped making the games, it was due to some lawsuits and some things. There was issues with name, image, and likeness that really what was the fate of the game. And EA axed the franchise, and it looked like we were never going to get a college football video game ever again. But due to new NIL legislation and all those great things, EA Sports rose it out from the ashes, and they began development just a few years ago on this video game, and there's been not a whole lot of information, a lot of speculation, all speculation really, but we've finally gotten a little bit of information. We know in May we're going to see a trailer. We got a teaser back just a few months ago that really didn't give us much information, but that's what a teaser does. It's to give you just enough information to really make you mad. But in May, we'll have a full reveal, a trailer. We'll talk about that here. We'll review that here. But really, we have only had this information coming in from one guy in particular, a man by the name of Matt Brown. He has a newsletter called Extra Points with Matt Brown. And this guy, he's a great guy. He's really fell into this position. He really didn't even anticipate. If you look him up, and there's so many videos out there of him talking about it on his own, him going on other people's shows, other people's podcasts, him writing about it on the internet, about how he kind of fell into this position of the main guy, the main point of contact between us and EA, us and all these schools, and he's been able to get a lot of information about this game. Obviously, he can only say so much. He doesn't want to, what's the word, wear out his welcome with EA Sports. I think they're allowing him to, not really leak, but sort of throw out hints, and they're kind of passing some information to us through him. Well, we got a little bit more information here recently from him. He just released a new newsletter, and I'll show it to you here. He's talking about the cover athletes, because that's been something that people have talked about. Who's going to be the cover athlete for the game? That was always a huge thing, and it's always been players that had already graduated. It was players that were always fresh out of college. You can think of like Robert Griffin III, Tim Tebow, and going back, Desmond Howard, and so many of them. So many great covers for these video games in the past. But this year, Matt Brown says in this article that he wrote that won't be the case, that it will be current players that will be playing on Saturdays this fall. And that's really exciting. And I think a lot of us maybe anticipated maybe somebody like Nick Saban, or maybe mascots. We really didn't know, honestly. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. But let's take a look at this article real quick, and let's see some of what he said. He says right here, and I'll quote it, "I've been making calls on my own, and I can share some details to help everybody narrow their guesses a bit. Thanks to multiple conversations I've had with multiple individuals with direct familiarity with EA's cover choices, I can share that." And the first point here is there are multiple cover athletes since EA is releasing multiple versions of the video game. Now, what does he mean by multiple versions of the video game? Does he just mean there's going to be different covers available? Does that mean there's going to be like a regular edition? Like if you know EA and kind of how they do things in the modern day, they'll have a standard edition, a deluxe edition. They could be thinking about college football, a Heisman edition, things like that. Or is it the same game at the same price point, but just different covers available? That's going to be interesting to see. I would suspect that there would probably be maybe deluxe editions, different things like that. That's just my speculation. Let's continue to see what else he's got to say here. The second point, he says, each cover athlete is a current college football player who plays in a different power conference. There was plenty of internet speculation that a cover athlete could potentially be a coach like Nick Saban, or any number of athletes that played during the years of the game that was not released, like previous Heisman winners. That was something that we all kind of talked about. I read a lot of people's speculations on that there could be a way to kind of pay homage to that 10 years, because there was a lot of great players since 2013 that have played in college football that never had any kind of recognition in any of these games because of obvious reasons, because there wasn't a game. You know, you can think of somebody like a Johnny Manziel. I'll name one. There's a huge list. Oh, man, there's so many. But back to this, that looks like that's not going to be the case, at least for this year. He continues here. Or even fans or mascots like the Oregon Duck, he says. Those are reasonable guesses, but I've been told that the athletes will be current athletes, people that you will see play actual college football this season. And then his final point, the athletes play all different positions. That means there's only one quarterback, one running back, and etc. Happy guessing. So one quarterback, one running back. So does that mean, say for example, you might have a Carson Beck or Jackson Dart, and then maybe like a Travis Hunter? There's a huge list. Is there Quinn Ewers on the cover? Is there a Shedeur Sanders? Your guess is as good as mine. But different power conference. How many does that mean? Does that mean the Power 5? Is there going to be a group of 5 teams that's going to get a cover athlete? This is really exciting to me. And honestly, I think this is the way to go. And you would suspect that these players, due to the current NIL format and NIL rules, they will be able to be compensated extra for their, image being shown on the cover of this video game. And honestly, how about it's one thing graduating, leaving your school, and then becoming an athlete on this video game, but to actually be on the video game, you are the headliner for this video game, and you're still playing college ball. That feeling, I can imagine, will be incredible for whatever athletes they have in the works here, which I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, but I'm assuming this has already been hashed out. I'm assuming it's already been taken care of. If you remember, for those of you that know, for those of you that don't know, it wasn't that long ago that they finally, EA sent out an opt-in form, essentially, to all the players that were lettering in their sport that were, it would be people on scholarship, players on scholarship. And over 10,000, I don't know how many the exact number is, over 10,000 opted in. I suspect the majority of them opted in with no issue whatsoever. I believe the number was $600 that every athlete will get, plus a copy of the video game, which I can tell you right now, a lot of those players would want to be in the game for absolutely $0. I know I would, because just imagine having yourself in the video game. You could say, well, Brandon, for years, we never had rosters. We never had rosters on these games. There was always some guy, some nerd that sat down and, 2 days after the video game got released, he had all the rosters, everything updated, the player bios and everything. So what does it even matter? Well, there's a difference between that and rosters that are already in the game, that already have the likeness, the facial likeness. I know that not every player is going to be scanned, but they can go off of pictures and things like that to get it, close enough. Scanning like they do in Madden, where they actually take a 3D model of the athletes' faces and literally put a 3D model of them in the video game. That won't be the case, at least on a wide scale, because it's just that's just we're talking about over 10,000 athletes here. That is a tough task, and I applaud them for their ability to get all this done. I know they've been working on this game, and a lot of people have been very speculative. A lot of people don't think it's going to be all that great. Some people still don't even think the game's going to come out. And at this point, I don't know how you can have that opinion. I respect that. I respect your theory there, but I believe this game's coming out, and it'll be hyped. And I think we'll look over any bad that this game may have. That's another thing. People are really against EA, especially people that play Madden, that really... and have been playing Madden for years that really think, well, EA cuts corners. They don't really care about the players. They just care about the money. It's terrible. Somebody else needs to take over. I think we should all give them a chance here. And I think this is going to be great. If you have a PS5, if you don't have a PS5, you better be investing in one. If you don't have a new Xbox, you better be investing in one, because this is going to be sweet. But as always, we're going to monitor Matt Brown and his information, as he always has great takes. He always has information. Check him out and follow him on his social platforms, and look up some videos of him being interviewed by other YouTubers, other podcasters, he was on Paul Feinbaum, I believe, today, talking about a number of things. So if you want more in-depth updates on what he said, he has had a lot of great information, and it's just an exciting time. We're at the end of April now. The transfer portal is going to close, and next thing you know, it'll be media days. This game's going to come out, and then football is going to start. But any news about this game that comes out, I'll let you know. I'll come on here, and we'll talk about it. And we're just waiting. We don't know exactly when that May trailer will release, but when it does, look for me right here at Ride Along Sports. We're going to tell you all about it, and we're going to give you all the scoops, all the news. My name's Brandon Taylor. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.